Hey, what's up, guys and gals? My name is Ricknineg. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to be talking about I Love Lucy. Sorry about the color, the saturation. I think it's because it's red. It's like my face and then the light. Does this help at all? No, that's too dark. We'll just put that on for now. You'll know that I'm not sunburned. See, and then it goes to like weird colors. Anyway, hopefully you guys and gals are doing amazing on this lovely, lovely Monday. I've got some lemon water here. Floating lemon. See the lemon floating? Lime. It's actually a lime. So hopefully everyone's doing well. Everyone had a good weekend. I hope, of course. And we're going to be looking at 2 episodes today. Where are my books? Where's my... Okay, there we go. Here's my Lucy book. I can't try and get it. Okay. Here's my Lucy book. And the episodes, they're right down below. Cuban Pal and The Freezer. So concurrent episodes, one coming before the other in chronological order. Let's see, Cuban Pals 4/21, 1952. The Freezer 4/29, 1952. I'll go over all the facts and all the information. So let's get it started. Thank you and welcome to everyone in the chat. Of course, everyone who's watching afterwards, thank you for watching it after the fact. And we'll start the episode so we can kind of get going, move along. So hello everyone, and of course welcome to all the new subscribers, all the new people joining in, but a big thank you to everyone who's been watching me for so long, some people for years, which is awesome. So let's get to this. Let's look at Cuban Pals. Now Cuban Pals is an episode that I actually rather like. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. That is a April 21st, 1952 premiere, or it showed on that day on TV. Episode number 28, filmed on a Friday, March 14th, 1952. So a little more than a month before it aired. That's when they taped it. Rating sure was 64.5. Now let's look. 64.5 is not the highest ever we've had so far. The highest up to date is The Marriage License, which was a few episodes back. It's episode 28. So, 26. Yeah, 26. Now we're in episode 28, 64.5 out of 86. So we have Carlos Ortega, who played Alberto Morin, and Maria Ortega, played by Rita Convey. Renita Perez is played by Lita Barron, and the music, Lady in Red, and Similu. Yes, and this is the famous one where Desi makes a mistake when he's translating, and he's supposed to do an English translation. He does it in Spanish, and then he laughs about it. He gets out of character, in essence. He just giggles and he kind of struggles to get back on track, and the actors are like just waiting on his cue to continue their line. So it's really cool, and it happens toward the very beginning of this. And it is a good thing to note for people who don't believe or that don't understand. Wow, that fixed it. It was literally my light that was on top of a little Laurel and Hardy statue. It did the whole thing. That's kind of weird. Okay. Did I show this to you guys? In case you don't know, I'm a big Laurel and Hardy fan. See? And the movie that's coming out, it's going to be so good. I've had these since around 2000, so almost 20 years. Since I was just before high school. So kind of cool. And it's your birthday, Arthur. Well, happy birthday. Let's wish Arthur a happy birthday. Nice to see everyone on here. Oh, thank you. You say congratulations for an awesome pilot. It's red again. It's just my life. Well, thank you. I do appreciate that so much. Let's get it started here with, now this is great because Lucy is the one who's doing the, how do you call it? The hospitality for these 2 guests. They're apparently Ricky's friends. And of course, she cannot speak any Spanish at all. And they only speak Spanish. And of course, she only speaks English. And so there's a language barrier there. And there's some funny banter going back and forth about we donut. She's like, well, where you guys go and play the show next? And he's like, we donut. And she's like, sounds like someplace in Arkansas. And they're like, no, we do not speak English. He has a little book, a little like translation dictionary thing. And that's where he gets his lines. Now, interestingly enough, this actor, let me just see his name here. Yes, the Alberto Morin, this is the actor's name, who plays, of course, Carlos, the friend. He is the same guy who plays the French waiter in the French Review later on in season 3. So what's interesting about that, he does a fairly good Cuban accent here, I can tell you. I'm aware of how that works. And French, he sounds really French. So a lot of these actors who do accents, they don't just do one, they do like everything. That's how talented they are. Same thing with a few others. Like, remember the Adagio? Jean Valjean Roman, he does like a French. He does two episodes where he's French, and then the third he has like a perfect like American dialect or accent. So it's kind of cool. Yes, he was very good at accents, Casey. I'm sure you maybe researched him in depth because you like to do that, especially with certain actors. And it's just pretty cool. It's Vito Scotti's another one like that. And we have, who else can I think that's like that? I am thinking, but I just forgot the name off the top of my head. Season 1, where is it? Where is it? Where is it, buddy? I have to go back. I think it's like episode 8, isn't it? There we go. Jay Novello. Yes, he does. Yes, Signora. He does Italian, and then he does like different voices. Like, these are all great actors. So it's great that you all are here to join us. Look at that. Good amount of people on the live stream, which is awesome to see. How is everyone doing? Is everyone doing well? Everyone had a good weekend? Why don't we do this? Why don't you all tell me where you're from, where you're tuning in from, so we can see if we're coming from the local LA area, if they're coming from across the country, if there's people in England. I have quite a few people who watch from England, which is kind of cool. I just love to see how far this goes. It's interesting to always see that. Of course, Vito Scotti was in I Love Lucy. He was in the Lucy Desi Comedy Hour. In the Mexico episode, he was also on Gilligan's Island on, I believe, 3 episodes. He was Dr. Boris Balankoff twice, and once he was a Japanese sailor. So very cool. All right, let's see where everyone is from. Wisconsin. Ooh, Missouri. Okay, so the Midwest, Texas, the South. Awesome. Chicago, up north. North Carolina, very cool. On the opposite side of the country in Iowa, right in the middle. Look at this, South Carolina, Northern California, kind of cool, representing the West Coast. That's nice. Florida, the southernmost tip. Very nice. Michelle from New York. Awesome. Up there. Wow, do you see how we're getting people from all? We need someone from the Pacific Northwest, like Oregon or Washington State now. Salt Lake City, Virginia, Philadelphia, Hesperia, right around the Southern California area. Arizona, awesome. Cultural Club. Illinois. Is the sun still up in LA? No, it's really, I have my curtains drawn, like they're closed. So it was pretty dark when I closed them. That's why I closed them, so people don't look in. So yeah, I would pretty much no sun. Sun has been gone, but it left like half an hour ago. There was sun out, so it's fairly recent. Agunga? Oh, I'm sorry, I don't even. Near Temecula. Okay, I'm familiar with Temecula. Helen from Maryland. Awesome, San Antonio. Everyone from the U.S. so far. That is really, really cool. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that, guys, for tuning in for all these things. Oh my gosh. Lucy is now pouring. Oh, it's wine. So she's like, vino to everyone. And they're like, muchas gracias. Now, what's great is, hair issues today. What's great is that I can understand what they're saying in Spanish. And it all makes sense. It's not jibber jabber, in case you guys don't know. They're mostly right now talking about. I wish I had the subtitles on. I can actually do that because I don't have the sound on. Yeah, so they're basically asking right now Ricky if he would dance with Renita, who was a little young girl that he used to dance with when he was younger. And now, of course, she grew up, and Lucy gets jealous and doesn't want her to dance and sing with Ricky, and so she kind of gets her out of the picture. It's one of the great moments of Fred that I haven't even really highlighted yet, where he's, did you call a cab, lady? Where he comes in as a cabbie, and he's like in his really small jacket, and he's just really funny because Lucy, I thought that was the coolest thing when Lucy calls the cab company, and then all of a sudden she hangs up, send a cab, she hangs up, and it's like, and he's at the door. It's like, wow, that was fast. I always thought that was like magical somehow. I didn't get the fact that it was Fred and he was right there and it was all a plan for Lucy. But yeah, it was still comical to me. Like even as a kid, I understood it. Oh my gosh, I'm looking at here. You're in the middle. It's in the middle of the AM in Europe. John, you are awesome. Like London. Are you kidding me? Well, thank you. The biggest shout out to you for being awake at 3 a.m. to watch me. I do appreciate that. Now, were you up because you wanted to watch, or were you up because you couldn't sleep? And either way, it's cool. But I'm just curious. That is cool. Let me see. Yeah, right. Some people in Europe are just kind of waking up. That is crazy. That is crazy for sure. Philadelphia. It's middle of the morning in Europe now. Well, we're in Europe because you said after 3 a.m. in London. So where are you exactly? I mean, city-wise. You just give me a city if you'd like. Star upstairs. Oh, you're in Texas. Oh, I gotcha. My mistake. John is in Texas. He's not in Europe. Oh, believe me, I've had people tune in England at like this time. So I wouldn't be surprised. No problem. Now, what's the question here? In the star upstairs, does Lucy fall off on her own, or was it a stunt double? You're talking about in the Cornell Weil episode, where most of that was her. And remember, she wasn't, well, while she was hanging, the balcony where she goes down, I mean, it wasn't obviously 4 flights down. It was like a stage, and it was when you go behind that, what do you call it? Yeah, I guess the balcony, the edge of the balcony, it's the floor. And so they probably had some pads for her to lay on. So, you know, it's all movie magic taken to the television, taken to the medium of television. It's these are all tricks, you know, like stunt doubles at flying stuff. But she was probably no more than 8 feet off the ground, but she had like a harness and everything on her. She was relatively very, very, very safe. They wouldn't take a chance on her like that. But you would hand it to her. She did most of her stunts. I'd say like 90-something%. The reason why I say that is because they use stunt doubles for sure in a lot of the Lucy Desi Comedy Hour. They used it in the Uranium episode quite a bit, and very much so in the one with Milton Berle, where she's hanging from the building in that little pod. You can clearly tell that it's another woman. Like they just didn't really hide it well, and it was pretty obvious. But yeah, pretty cool. Oh, happy Thanksgiving. That's right, because Canada has a different day that celebrates Thanksgiving. So are you on vacation, JC? Do you guys have the day off like we do? We usually have the day off. It's like a Thursday, so we have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday kind of thing. Yes. Well, today was Columbus Day for sure. No mail. We have no mail. Things like that. And wasn't Lucy afraid of heights? She was. I would say, I don't know. Like, it depends, because everyone has a different definition of heights. Like, I can tell you that if I'm on a ladder, I don't like that, but I fly in planes. And so it's like that doesn't make sense to some people, but I feel very safe in a plane. On a ladder, like 8 steps up, I don't. And so when she was hanging off of the helicopter in that episode, she was very afraid, but she didn't tell anyone. In the balcony, she wasn't that far off. She could, if her things broke the rope, she would probably drop like 5 feet. Like, she would land on her feet. Yeah, she probably would not get hurt at all. Jared, I did see Venom, and let me tell you, I thought it was excellent. I really did. Oh, there's a mic peeking up there. That's interesting. I've never ever seen that. In the when they're at the club, there's a mic that just peeks off, like the mic's like that, and it goes back up. I think it was really good. I probably should do a movie review on that, but yeah, I'll just keep it at that. It was awesome. Oh, and there's Ricknineg. She's a beautiful woman, played by, well, I changed the page here. Lita Baron. Now, I want to look her up to see if she was in anything else. Yes, definitely a lot of bloopers. And I still find more when I still watch, like I watched the show and I still find more. And it's like, I want to collect more to make more episodes. But yeah, it's one of those things where I just look and then it's like, oh, okay, because most people pay attention to the action. And I'm sure if they had seen that in the editing room, they'd be like, what can we do? We're gonna slice the negative? Probably not. So they just leave it in there. It's hard to get everything perfect. But yeah, kind of a cool blooper there. I appreciate it, but letting everyone know to give a thumbs up. I appreciate that. Hey, Julia, thank you for coming into the live stream. Now, what do you guys think about Desi's dancing? Do you think he was a pretty good dancer? Do you think he was talented in that respect? How about his singing? Some people have very conflicting views about that. I know someone who's a big I Love Lucy fan, but hates Desi's singing. Like, that person, I'll just say, because obviously this goes to the public, that person says that it's like he's hamming it up and it's like all the attention is on him. I've heard that. And then I've also heard people that kind of like his musical interludes, and I rather enjoy them. I don't think that's the only way to look at it, but I've heard both ways. So let me know what you think in the chat. I'm really interested in knowing. Oh, and there comes Lucy and Ethel as scrub women trying to interrupt, that is, the whole dance number that they're dancing together, holding hands, and Lucy's trying to spray water at them. And of course, sprays herself, dumps the bucket over her head, all over herself, all over Ethel, and they kind of crash out of the cloud. They just kind of fall out. It's great. And now Ricky complains. He's like, oh, I'm so old. I can't dance like I used to. And so forth. And supposedly this guy Ramon is supposed to dance with her. We actually, I guess we see him because he's dressed up like as a native, but you never really get to see his face. So he could just be an extra. I don't know. It doesn't even bill him on here, to be honest with you. It's just Carlos, Maria, Renita, and that's it. There's no Ramon billed in this. So Casey has a pretty good point. Very interesting. It'd be pretty boring if he just stood there and sang. Performers have to perform. That's what makes it so entertaining. So I think he was great. Now to add, play a little devil's advocate on that, Casey. What if we just completely had taken like all of his singing and like dancing like away? Like we go to the club, but we maybe tune in when like the number's done. And it's like, oh, boop, and it ends. Or it's like, great number, guys. And then they go to a dialogue. You know, because sometimes we get 5-10 minutes of actual, maybe not 10 minutes, but let's say 5 full minutes of him singing, or a couple minutes of him singing like a dance number. And so it's in there, and they could have easily cropped it out. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? So question is, what was a hand gesture Ricky did while dancing with Renita? So what do you guys say to that? What is the hand gesture? Julia, what is your favorite celebrity? So you want one. You want me to give you one? I will give you John Wayne. He's my favorite celebrity on I Love Lucy. My favorite appearance, like, I think his star power was really great. And I think his, I mean, because he obviously played himself, but what he played, or what he actually did, how he made a fool of himself, quote unquote, in just an awesome, funny way, I think was amazing and really funny. And I love it. But there's a lot that I love. I love William Holden. Bob Hope was okay. Like, I didn't like first season 6 episode as much as I think it could have been. I don't know. I just think it could have been stronger. I like the Milton Berle appearance. I love, let's see. Oh man, there's so many. I love the Fred McMurray appearance. I think it's a Bill Holden. Oh, Harpo Marx, of course. I love Harpo Marx. Cornell Wilde was okay. I think I like Van Johnson's a little bit more. Richard Widmark was great. And so, yeah, those are just a few that I really like. Thank you so much for joining, Michael, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Don't forget to come back, and then you can see the rest of the video so you don't miss out. If you guys haven't given a thumbs up, I would appreciate a thumbs up. Easy, just click there, and helps to spread the message to the channel. So that's very cool. So you can't imagine the show, Casey says, without Desi singing. But you wonder if the audience in the 50s loved those musical numbers maybe more than the audiences today. You know, that's a very good point. I have to tell you that if you ever watch something really old, like I classify that really old. Well, let's say very old in like movie cinema history, like the Marx Brothers. They had singing, dancing, jokes, pantomime, vaudeville routines, everything in a movie. You may say, why? Why do you jam pack all this stuff in a movie like that? Why don't you just make it straight or just dialogue or act? Well, the reason was because some of that art, because it was all this art, pantomime and singing, there's all different forms of art, entertainment, are put into one. And so it's like a Swiss Army knife, right? And the idea is you're getting bang for your buck. If you love singing, you're going to get singing. If you love jokes, you're going to get jokes. If you love vaudeville, you're going to get vaudeville. If you love really spicy jokes, you have that. If you like tripping, falling, physical comedy, you have that. And if you like spectacle, now a lot of these dance numbers are like spectacles. They had hundreds of dancers. And so what I Love Lucy, I think, tried to capitalize on was that concept that you didn't just get Lucy being a physical comedian, which was like, can be seen as silly, sometimes even kind of low at that time. We're talking about that time, right? Because it's like, of course, movies were seen as like higher class than TV. TV was just like today, YouTube, some people would argue that is like not as good as like TV or movies. However, when you see Will Smith, Tom Cruise, who else, like all of these actors and singers on YouTube trying to make money and trying to monetize their videos, you can see that YouTube is really pushing that envelope. And so going back to this, I think Casey has a really good point in that they tried to do this. They tried to put so much entertainment into like 26 and a half minutes. Great. Yeah, I agree, Jared. I remember it wasn't just that he was, because Harpo Marx poked fun of himself, right, in the episode. They kind of made fun of the duck soup mirror scene, like joking about it. You have to remember John Wayne, I think, went another level. This is the machoist man, conservative, macho, muscular, over 6 feet tall, kills everyone in his sight when he's in his Western movies, right? And he sits on a female's curler, like a woman's curler. Like, how radical, how just like visceral that is, I think is pretty stunning. You can't just kind of brush that off. I'm not saying anyone is, but I'm saying like it just sticks in my mind for how powerful that was. As compared to where others, where it's like Van Johnson, who dances glamorously like he always does. Bob Hope is like a stand-up comedian, and he does that like he always does. I think John Wayne was like the only one who really stepped out of his comfort zone. Even Orson Welles, I know a lot of people don't like that episode, but he stuck to Shakespeare and magic, what he did. He didn't really allow himself to be, poked fun at. Not many, but I would say Bill Holden, though, did get the pie in the face, so I will take that back about him. That came to mind. But yeah, it's something to just think about. All right. Lots of cool stuff in here. Henry the Horse, nice to see you in the chat. You watched an episode, Casey, today when Pepito the Clown appeared. I don't know if today's audience would even like clown comedy like the audiences did back then. It was an art. So good point. No, I think you're right. I think the tastes have changed. And so some people may be like, why is this clown riding a bicycle? Like, again, it was seen as like, wow, look what they're bringing us. They're bringing all this entertainment. They're bringing us live animals. Like, it was trying to be a spectacle in 26 and a half minutes, which is not an easy feat, let me tell you, to make a really good 26 and a half minute episode. Yeah, I mean, the Stooges did it in 15 minutes. They did a whole story in less than 15 minutes. Sometimes they'd go up to 19, but I mean, that was the longest. Most of them around 15 minutes. So, and those are shorties, movies. So Will has a question. Do you agree that the comedy writing declined in the last episodes of the Lucy Desi Comedy Hour? It's ironic given what you said in your video that Desi really wanted the hour-long show for a long time. It is ironic, and that is true. He did want it for a long time. He actually, it's like one of those things where, I don't know, like if I'm flying these smaller planes, like I'm like, well, I'm not there yet. The pinnacle's like jets. And then once you finally get to jets, like something bad happens or whatever. And so it's like, wow, I could have been better in just the smaller ones. It's kind of like that. Like, Desi thought he wasn't doing as good until he went to like an hour. Like, he was like, that's the powerhouse. And when he did that, that was their downfall. It was like their kryptonite. And so, yeah, I would say that the last 3 episodes I wasn't even really a fan of. from the Comedy Hour. I know it's the Japan episode, the mustache, and I did like the Milton Berle one, personally. Summer Vacation I also liked. The career one, so. Alaska was all right. Make Room for Danny was okay. The other ones I did really like. But I was shaky on the last few ones. Yeah, so I would agree that the writing really declined, and it was like the jokes weren't as fresh. Same thing with the Stooges. The Stooges had an issue with reusing a lot of their jokes. Now that's not that bad because remember these are movies that weren't meant to be rerun. And so what's happening here is you're going to see the Stooges before an actual, feature-length film. And not everyone went to see every Stooge short. Some did. Some were like crazy enough where they went to see every single one, but most didn't. And so if they reuse a joke, you probably wouldn't even notice. And maybe you might run into, they might have said that before, but you still laugh, So let me hit the freezer episode. Let me get that started. We're done, guys and gals. We're done with the first episode. Halfway done, 50% there. So let's talk about this one. Oh, thanks, Train Support. I appreciate you supporting my aviation videos. I will wave down at you while you're sleeping for sure. You've got a point there, Pilgrim. John Wayne. So, Henry, that device that he used was a lamp chimney. I never knew what that was, to be honest with you, because Pepito says he's like, a lamp chimney? And I'm like, what? So he has an accent. And so it's a lamp chimney. So it's those old lamps. It's basically a glass like vase type thing with open ends on both. And it would go on top of like a candle, basically like a lantern, a lamp chimney. It was like an old lantern type thing. And yeah, it's basically like a curved piece of glass. And so when you do that and you do it correctly, it vibrates and you can create different sounds. So, I'm sure kids play with it. It's like if I do this and I go like that. So yeah, I'm talented. Hey, nice to see you, Eric. Thank you for joining. Yeah, lamp chimney. You'll see it. Like when you see an image of how it is, the glass over the whole thing, you'll get it. You'll be like, oh, I know what that is. It's just, personally, I never heard it named that. Like, I didn't know that's what it was called. So live and learn, right? We all learn something. Okay, let's do the freezer. Let's take a look at the info on this episode. Now, the freezer, I think, is one of the best episodes, in my opinion, of season 1. One of the best, like the top, the top out of the 36 something episodes, 35 episodes. It's, I think, top 5, top 10. I think I made my top list and it should be up there. Hopefully it is. If not, I really do enjoy it. The Freezer, it is in April 28th, 1952 release, episode 29, filmed on a Friday, March 21st, 1952. So again, about a month before, a little less than a month. Rating share was 60.4 out of 87. Now this got a lot less views than the Cuban Pals episode, so it's good to know. Supporting cast, Delivery Man 1, played by Frank Sully. Delivery Man 2, Bennett Green. Now, Bennett Green, of course, the stand-in during rehearsals, lighting arrangements and stuff for Desi. So it's cool to know. And he appeared tons. He's like one of the most, he appeared most. Yeah. I'll just leave it at that. The Butcher is Fred Aldrich, and he appears in a couple other episodes as well. Woman in the Butcher Shop, Kay Wiley, and Barbara Pepper. And of course, we know Barbara Pepper is very big in I Love Lucy, one of Lucy's good friends. And she was slated to be Ethel Mertz. She was one of the actresses considered before we got Vivian Vance looked at. Hazel Pierce, the stand-in for I Love Lucy, is also for I Love Lucy, for Lucille Ball, is in this episode. Kay Wiley, you may not know her by name, but she's actually very, like, you'll know exactly who she is. She's in the Butcher Shop, but she was also in the Martian episode where they're on the top of the Empire State Building, quote unquote. They're in the skyscraper, and then the Lucy gets, and she goes, and she like opens her mouth and she goes, and screams. It's that woman. That's Kay Wiley. The music is Cielito Lindo, which actually means a beautiful sky. And Mama Inez. Oh, Mama Inez. And all that means, Inez is a name and Mama's mom. So Mother Inez. Yeah. So in case you guys know, if you ever want me to translate something for you, I'd be more than happy to do that. I have to get into that. I have to make a couple episodes where I do that. Now, interesting to note, this was the first episode to carry the credit executive producer for Desi Arnaz, so he was actually credited. So he had a big say in how they wrote this, and I'm sure if you read Jess Oppenheimer's book, you'll note that as well. Kind of cool. Kind of cool. Boys, thank you for joining. I know, like you said, you're at work, but I do appreciate it. I do appreciate you watching. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, Henry, talking about Joe. That was part of the contract. He made it adamant that he would only be on and play Joe if he wouldn't get hit and slapped and so forth. And so they agreed to that. You know, for better or for worse, you guys, let me know what you think about that. How much is a side of beef? How much is a side of beef? Let me know. Let me see. Yeah, so you're correct, John H. It did air April 28th. Yeah, that's what I have here. If I said anything different, I goofed because it says right here, April 28th, 1952. Yep. Filmed March 21st, 1952. My dyslexia kicks in every once in a while. Freezer is one of the best episodes. You remember watching it when as a kid. Now remember, there was a lot of makeup that was done by Hal King, I believe. Because remember, we have Max Factor, we have Hal King. Hal King did a lot of the prosthetic, like weird makeup, meaning like, of course, all these icicles. Lucy wasn't really frozen, obviously. Let's just get that out of the way. There was no cold temperature she was susceptible to. It was all makeup to make her look like she was frozen, her tears and her boogers and like all that stuff, her frozen hair. It was all makeup. Hal King did that. Now we moved to Max Factor. Max Factor did Lucy's like hair and makeup and so forth in terms of like just her looking nice, like just like helping her dye her hair. I really want to take you guys, let me know what you think in the chat, to the Max Factor Museum. It's no longer that. It's Hollywood Museum, but that was the actual location where Lucy would get her hair done. And you can go into that room. It's called the Red Room. There's also a yellow room, or the blonde room, I believe. I think it's a yellow room. And that's where all the blondes went. And the brunettes went in the brown room or the brunette room. Now you may think, why this separation? Well, it's simple. It's because obviously, you know, I won't know this, I'm a girl, but I investigated. And that's that when you dye hair, you obviously need different compounds. There's like blondes need certain things, like certain highlights and dyes and all this stuff. And so the equipment is in that room. So it's just easier to separate them by hair color. So kind of cool. Lucy had everything that she needed in the red room. So that's awesome to know. Like when I found out, I was like, whoa, that's cool. And there was even like a carport where these actors can come in with their car and like you could store their cars in there for them. Like it was an intense room. Yes, very true, Henry. And Hans Conried, if you didn't know, also appeared on Gilligan's Island. And I recently found out he was the voice for the original Captain Hook and Peter Pan. Isn't that interesting? Like, I was blown away because I kind of like him. He appeared twice on Gilligan's Island. And I love both times. He appeared as Wrongway Feldman and twice here as well. And he was really good. He was also a couple other voice characters and so forth. So, yeah. That's not a side of beef. That's a side of elephant, as Lucy said. Red room, red room, red room, red room. If you're a big fan of The Shining, you should go ahead and take a look at my Shining review. I do movie reviews as well. That's on hiatus too. It's hard, guys and gals, when you have lots of topics to. It's not about keeping something up, but it's about like prioritizing what you want to do and what you want to make and what people want to see. I made a poll. If you go to the community aspect of my channel, I ask people what do they want to see mostly, and I think out of 130 something people that voted, thank you for voting if you did. If you haven't, go ahead and vote and just vote the number one thing you want to see. I'm guessing a lot of you would do I Love Lucy, but I put like I Love Lucy, Three Stooges, gaming, What else? I didn't put aviation in there. Like, it didn't give me that many options. I may go really more detailed into that, into polls, because I want to kind of draw things. Like, maybe I want to say, for I Love Lucy, do you want to see like an episode Spanish to English translation? Do you want to see an episode on like more bloopers? Do you want to see an episode on more behind the scenes secrets that you can learn? Stuff like that. And I'd love to do that. Oh, there she is. Her name is Kay Wiley. There we go. Lucy's talking to her. Are you interested in a little high class beef? Do you want a bargain? Tell you what I'm gonna do. She goes, tell you what I'm gonna do. Lucy, the saleswoman. Don't worry, very nice. You are a little late. You are 35 minutes late now. Remember, you can go back and watch it, and you won't miss a second on that. I believe he was on Rocky and Bullwinkle. I've heard that from you guys, so I'm going off of that. He was about 35 when he appeared in Dobie Gillis. Oh, that's in Gillis, excuse me, Dobie Gillis. And that's probably why he was on Gilligan's Island. So that's really cool. 5 years younger than Danny Thomas, who played his nephew on Danny's sitcom. The cost for a side of beef in 2018. I appreciate that, Quiet Please, because I wouldn't even know where to look that up. So we're going by what you're saying. If anyone can verify that, or is a butcher, so forth, I would appreciate that, because I have no idea. It would be $1,500. Now, I'm guessing a side of beef, if you can correct me, is like half of a cow, right? Or is it a quarter? Like, it seems, obviously it's a lot. I can see how much, but I don't know how much quantity. Like, I don't think it's a whole cow. But $1,500, that's a good amount of money there. Oh, thank you. Well, a side of beef is half a cow. Cool. Thank you. Tell you what I'm doing. 75 cents a pound. Now, 75 cents a pound. How much would that be today? I wish I had my little counter thing. I could probably open it up. Let's see. Let me see. 0.75. I'm still around. Let's see. In 1951 is $7.45. So, kind of cool. $7.45, according to the calendar here. Actually, will it change? Oh, come on. Because you can only use certain dates. Like, the farthest I can go to now is August 2018. So that'll work, because it obviously takes in the economy and inflation and all that. And so it's a couple months behind, because it's according to the U.S. Department of Labor. So these are pretty accurate amounts here. Like, it's funny. Some people are like, Rick, do you just make up these numbers? I'm like, no. Why would I make them up? Like, and they're fairly accurate. They're obviously, we're going with the United States federal government's estimations. So kind of cool. Yeah, no, Henry, for doing that in your head, that's pretty good. What I do, and if you look at how this is, 75 cents a pound, all you got to do is move it 1 decimal point to the right. 75 cents, move it 1 to the right. It's about 750, 745 works out. So something $7 on the show is $70. Remember, I think it was an anniversary of the Ricardos where the Merces were surprising them, and they got them a lighter, and then it cost them $5, which is like $50 today. And then Ethel wrote a 0 to make it $50, which would be $500. So obviously, it's a cool thing. Oh, and there's the freezer. There they are, opening that up there. Now, if you notice in this episode, we do not see their bedroom. Now, when you don't see something like that, like you don't see two things in this. So in this, you don't see the bedroom, and you don't see the club, if I'm not mistaken. That is probably where they did the butcher shop. And then this furnace area is probably right in front of the bedroom. So, and that's how they do it. That's how you can do everything and film like right after another, because you start in the kitchen, and then you move basically to the living room. Oh, no, wait. No, then you move to the meat market, the butcher shop, and then you go downstairs and upstairs. So that's how they do it. That's how they do it. Everything is used efficiently, and everything folds out. So it's kind of cool. Did Lucille Ball ever live in New York City? That's a great question, and I really can't answer that to you because I simply don't know. Oh, live in New York City. Obviously she was born in Jamestown, which is New York. But the New York City, I don't know. Some people may know that, and I'm sure you guys do. So if you do know, let me know or let us know in the chat. We'd appreciate that. So Arthur, you said, it's TV, but it always bothered you that even with the freezer, that meat would have gone bad in like a year. You're thinking too much, but still. Yeah, so it may have, but what if they had eaten it in a year's time? But remember, it got all cooked, right? Because it went in the furnace, and so it got burned up, cooked. And imagine that. Imagine if you had a furnace and then you just put all this meat in there. The smell, the smell would be amazing, and you'd be like, great, but it obviously could set the place on fire. So you don't really want to do that. Obviously, it's a show. Oh, awesome. So John H. Jess Oppenheimer wrote that they got the idea for this show from ads at the time, claiming that owning a freezer saves you so much money that it pays you a salary. Interesting. Crazy advertising, huh? We have stuff like that today. Why am I speaking Russian? I don't know. Casey, she went to drama school and worked there for a bit, but she had to move back home when she got bad arthritis. Oh, thank you. Awesome. Casey is our Lucy Encyclopedia. A lot of you are really good. Bradness comes up with a lot of you are really good. And this is, here's the thing, it's really funny, guys and gals, some of the comments that people leave me. I get a kick, obviously positive comments. Some they try to challenge me, which is great. I have some people who's like, wow, showing these bloopers is I don't know. It's almost like they think that I don't like Lucy, that I'm putting the show down or something. And it's really funny because I make so many of these videos, dedicate so much time to this. And you guys are super smart in the sense of a lot of you know tons of I Love Lucy stuff. And if I get something wrong, you will latch onto it, meaning I can't just BS this. I have a genuine, authentic love for this show, and other shows, of course. But it's oh yeah, Lucy was born in Texas. I if I really wouldn't know, this wouldn't work. And so it's just comical sometimes. But yeah, I appreciate that you guys are big fans as well, and teach me stuff like that about the arthritis. Yeah. It would turn you into a vegetarian. I don't know, Arthur. Maybe I'd be like, it would smell so good. But yeah, I guess it would burn and it would smell bad. And then I'd be like, oh. And if you guys watch The Walking Dead, I'm a little bit behind on the episodes. And there was one where a bunch of zombies were put through a meat grinder tenderite, and it looked like ground beef when it came out, but gross ground beef, soupy ground beef. And it's yeah, I don't want to eat any meat for 10 minutes. Jared, you always learn new stuff by watching these videos. Well, I appreciate that. I'm happy that you keep coming back, keep wanting to learn more, and that your interest is still there in live streams and seeing the comments. This community is awesome. Well, I appreciate that. I'm glad that I the community that I always wanted is the community that has grown, and it's not something that I lead. I kind of put it out there. It's almost like when you fish and then you get bites, and then after you leave, fishing still happens. So it's you guys still talk to each other when I'm not making videos, and when people still find me. I did the community post today where I was like, hey, I'm gonna do a live stream, and someone was like, I just found you. And I've been doing Lucy videos for almost 2 years, probably going to start my 3rd year. And so imagine that. And I feel that 10 years will go by of Lucy stuff and people will still be finding me. So it's just really cool. Any lost episodes of I Love Lucy? Absolutely. The first one, which is the pilot, was never really aired. And that is pretty much the audition episode, which we see, but you can see it's shot on really crude, camera stock or film stock. And it was, what else? The set was really different. It was an apartment, but it looked completely different. And there was also the Christmas episode, which was not really aired. I think it was lost as well. And it was recently found in the 90s and colorized, and now it's on DVD. You can see it. And if you get the DVD, it's they made it part of the collection. So yeah, great question there. Great question, guys. I love when you ask questions like that. Arthur, you made it through season 1, but you were done when they Walking Dead, I'm guessing. It's a pretty rough show, let me tell you. Yeah. John H, great question. Is since I'm a Gilligan's Island fan, can't speak today. Okay. Since you like Gilligan's Island, I think that's the moment of the live stream when I do that. Since I'm a Gilligan's Island fan, do I like the Brady Bunch? I can say that I've never seen one episode of the Brady Bunch all the way through. I don't think I've seen 5 minutes of an episode. It was created by the same guy, Sherwood Schwartz. Just never gotten into it. All these shows used to play, and then when I was a little kid, I just gravitate towards certain shows. I don't know why. I like the zany comedies, I guess. Even as a little boy, like I loved Gilligan. I loved the Munsters. I loved Lucy, of course, the Addams Family. I Dream of Jeannie. I don't know. I wouldn't say I Love Lucy's fantasy. I guess there's a fantasy element to it, like her being stuck in a freezer and having like icicles all over her face. But yeah, lady, I couldn't take it back if you glued it together and thought it had a walk. He was like a John Wayne type voice there. Let's see. When you were younger, your family visited LA in 1987. Wow. Nice. And you went to Lucy's house and took pictures on her front lawn. Now you live in LA. Awesome. That is cool. So you can go visit anytime you want. That is great. Do you like The Office? I do not, unfortunately. I've seen a few episodes and couldn't get into it. Not my type of humor, unfortunately, because I know a lot of people recommend it. Hello, Andy. Nice to see you. It's been so long. I haven't seen a comment for you in a while. Hopefully you're doing well. So question, since you're a Gilligan's Island fan, what other show, my neck, cracking my neck, did Above Denver star in with the same premise as Gilligan's Island, but different setting? It lasted only what season? So you're saying what show he did before Gilligan's Island? Is that the question? I'm not sure I understand the question fully. Arthur, the docu-movie about the Brady Bunch is so good. They had so much trouble getting Greg and Marsha. Now, I've heard of Marsha. I think she's like the popular one. I'm sorry. I have no idea. The Brady one. See, I don't even want to get into it because like I can plead that I know nothing about the show, to be honest. I know it's like a family and I think they married. I don't know. I'm sorry. So I obviously have the limits to what I know, like we all do. Charles, nice to see you. Let me see. Question is, what is the capital of South Dakota? Is that like geographical trivia? They want to start geography trivia. I was really good at geography when I was a kid, and they made us memorize like all of the states and their capitals and so forth. It's kind of funny. After Gilligan's Island, same set of characters as Gilligan, different setting. I'm not aware. Did you say it starred Denver? Where's the comment? Where'd the comment go? It is hard when the comments go like this. I'm trying to find it. Oh, dang. You love state capitals. Memorize them for fun. Sounds like something I would do. Oh, there's Lucy with her little blanket. She's super cold. Did I show you my shirt? I love Lucy. Keep calm and watch. I love Lucy. So someone sent this to me. It's really cool. I have a bunch of shirts. I've never had a Lucy shirt until you guys sent one to me. And I have like 5 or 6 now, which is awesome. I try to wear them on the live stream and so forth. So yeah, you guys are awesome. Thank you very much. Oh, and there's Lucy going, unplug me. She's like, join me for the biggest barbecue in the whole world. And everyone's like, huh? I'm surprised I didn't find it weird that it smells like barbecue like crazy, you know? All right, guys and gals, thank you so much. Leanne, someone sent me the shirt. Someone sent me the shirt. Thank you. If you happen to miss any of the live stream, guys and gals, go ahead and feel free to take a look. It should be uploaded very, very soon. And so within the hour. So if you missed any part of it, that's what's great. You can go and see it, and then you can come back and save your spot, which is really cool. So if you're a new subscriber, thank you so much for joining. If you are a classic subscriber, been supporting for so long, I do appreciate your support and all the wonderful things that you say in the comments, all the thumbs up, all the subscriptions. And if you don't, because a lot of people keep telling me, I still get these messages. They like flood my inbox, or it's like I don't get like a notice, or I don't get told that you're doing these live streams. You have to hit the notification bell and stay current in the YouTube community tab, because I'm going to put polls up there. Patreon's a good way to stay in tune with the channel, as well as my Facebook. So there's tons of ways to know. You just have to find what way is good for you. So I do appreciate it, guys and gals. You are awesome. We'll see you next time. And don't forget to stay positive, and most importantly, be hopeful.